unprecedented numbers. We cannot act with yesterday's logic. We need to act with tomorrow's logic. I started teaching irrigation about 8 years ago. We've had a lot of interest in the program. With the drought, we had decided to take a look at starting a program rather than just an isolated class. With the help of Jenny Abbott and Don Borges, we sat down and started looking at what it would take to get a program going. We applied for a National Science Foundation grant. We got together with a group of industry partners. We got together with the steering committee made up of a number of industry partners, and we set down some ground rules and some goals, set forth some goals for the program. We received the National Science Foundation grant in the sum of $900,000. We have received some additional money from the state drought relief grants, in addition, about another $100,000. So we're right near $1 million to start an irrigation program. Our goals are to provide technical training in irrigation. There is not enough technical people in the industry. We wanted to develop some additional courses. We wanted to develop certificates and degrees in irrigation. We want to provide training opportunities for the community, not just our students, but community members, growers, laborers, workers. Some of those workers displaced by the drought. We want to develop laboratory facilities and equipment in order to teach this and to support this activities. We added 4 additional classes. We modified and updated the class we had originally. We added 4 more. They've all been approved by this group and been approved at the State Chancellor's Office. We have degrees and certificates that are in the process, and the Chancellor's Office is in the process of approving those. We've added 4 certificates of achievement, and we've added an AS degree in irrigation. Pending approval, which we expect to come shortly, the AS degree in irrigation will be the first and only in the state of California. In fact, only one other in the western United States, and that's Walla Walla, Washington.
Grow onions.
So let's talk about the facilities we want to build. If you take a look at the slide there, we're going to put facilities in 11 acres in the northwest corner of West Campus. If you look down in the bottom corner, that's the MID substation there. There's a well right next to that. MID has graciously offered to allow us to pump water in the off season. We have a problem with teaching. There's a problem with teaching irrigation, and one of those problems is
winter.
Is the school year goes from September to April, and the irrigation season goes from April to September, and so there's no water in the canals for us to work with, and so we need to provide our own. And working with MID and their irrigation program, we've started to develop those facilities. We look at those facilities to start construction this summer. Technology. So we're going to build facilities, we're going to add technology. In the bottom corner there, there is a soil test we're doing, soil profile test and water movement through soil. We're working with a company called Locust Soil. They have a surfactant a biological surfactant that they add to soil. They say we can get the water to move quicker. They say that they can get soil to hold more water. And so we've done some testing with them. On the top corner up there, the drone, you see, the drone that's in the other room, we're flying over West Campus, the lab facilities. That's a GoPro camera that we stuck to the top of it and took some film footage. And granted, the film footage is interesting. It's really not the technology we're looking for. The technology we're looking for is actually infrared technology. And we have 3 different cameras. We have the GoPro, we have an infrared, and just a visual camera on the underside of the drone. We take infrared pictures. The infrared pictures show us canopy cover. They show us plant stress. If you notice the bright green section in there is the area of the greatest coverage and the least stress, or the least water stress. That picture was taken at the Beckwith Ranch about a month ago. The red sections show lack of canopy cover, but the reason they show lack of canopy cover is because we're not fully leafed out yet. And so newer pictures or pictures, upcoming pictures will show that. One thing we're really proud of is our website. Our website provides opportunities for students and provides opportunities for the community. In that website, we, it's coming up here in just a second, we have placed a weather station on West Campus. The weather station provides ET data, provides precipitation data, soil moisture. It's accessed to the community. We have growers that go on there. They'll take a look that shows where the probes are on West Campus. Some data, some ET data and so forth that growers and the community and my students that are allowed to get to. Another thing that we do on here is we like to provide educational opportunities. We hosted the Eastern San Joaquin Water Coalition meeting in the pavilion for roughly 700 people in February. If you look, we filmed the presentation and we provide that film online. Growers must attend that conference, or they may meet their requirements by watching the video and addressing some issues there. As the video plays out further, we have a list of some of our industry partners. Our industry partners, again, and I'm going to tell you, when we started this whole program, I think the thing that I'm most pleased by, and I did not foresee, was the help from industry. We go to buy equipment, and I'm pretty accurate in saying the equipment we have purchased, or we've gone to purchase, probably 50% has been donated. The group there, PMS Instrument Company, they make the leaf bomb, or a leaf tension device that it's really an industry standard now. We called them to get a quote, and talking to them on the phone, they asked what we're going to do, and we explained to them. They go, we'll just send it to you. And so we see a lot of that, and we really appreciate the industry. The industry is really looking for technicians, really looking for technicians. What's next? We're looking to continue to strengthen partnerships, continue working with communities. Today, my advanced irrigation class was with a grower in Houston that put in a new system. He contacted us. He has been flood irrigating the same old way for many years. He put in a new double-line drip system and was really a little bit confused on its operation. And so we went out with an advanced class. We did an evaluation. We talked to him. We made some recommendations. We're going to provide a formal recommendation in a letter and paperwork. And that's the kind of thing that we like doing. I think it's good for students, and I think it's good for the community. We want to train skilled technicians. We want to continue to expand facilities. My ultimate goal is to make MJC a National Science Foundation regional and national location. And with that being said, I appreciate all the support that we have received from the board and with the grant and so forth. And at this time, I'll address any questions. Yes,
Yes, good. We have Trustee Newmark, Trustee Riley. I'm sorry.
Steve, I really like that last bullet point of making MJC a regional and national center of the National Science Foundation. And very impressed that we're the only community college offering an AS degree in irrigation. When I look at that, that's a lot of schools, a lot of need that's not being met throughout the state. Is there any way through distance education that we could provide that support as well as help ourselves in terms of enrollment management?
That's probably not an avenue I've considered thus far, but that's an avenue we can take a look at. I do know that Kalinga College is starting a program. I'm not sure exactly why, but they don't like the idea of an AS degree. They do some certificates. When we started the whole steering committee for this activity, it was pretty much a consensus that the only college university teaching students in irrigation as Cal Poly, Fresno State does teach isolated irrigation classes, but they don't have a major in water resource engineering. And MID, John Davis at MID was the one that brought it up, and he said that Cal Poly provides the industry with enough engineers, and there's enough unskilled workers out there. There's no one in the middle. We need somebody to bring those people in the middle, and or to provide training for those people in the middle, and so that's where we're going with that.
Thank you.
Any question? Tom?
I was just going to say one thing, that I was very proud of this program when I first learned of it, and I mentioned it when I testified in Sacramento for that bill that we all supported on the water flows. And that, I know, took some people aback, but I said, if you take away this water, it kind of renders the program moot. But the tie-in was very good. Thank you.
I just want to say it's a very impressive presentation, and thank you for being on the ball on this in the Ag Department.
Thank you.
And it's very timely, too. It
Yeah.
couldn't come at a better time to initiate a program like this, so.
True. We have, I guess just as an example, when I taught this class every other year, started 8 years ago, and the first year I had 20 students in class, and then 2 years later, I think we had 60 show up, and then we split it in half, and then 2 years after that, I think it was 80 show up, and so we split that, and so we were teaching the beginning class once every other year, and this year I will teach it 3 times. And so the students like it. There's jobs for them. There's more internships than I have students that are ready for them. So that's good.
And I just wanted to echo what has been said by Ann, and I am very appreciative of the fact that you've surveyed our community. You know what our needs are. You're providing for those needs, as well as helping to educate our students. And I appreciate what you're doing in your program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And I like the idea of a certificate rather than the AS at this particular time, because I think there's a lot of individuals out there that aren't looking for the AS, but are that are looking at this and getting a certificate. And as I walk through the community, a lot of people, like in workforce development, where we issue those certificates, are really happy with the students that we have in those classes that go into the community and go to work right away. So hopefully that'll be the
If I may add to that, as an example, it's not a certificate, I guess, as you know here, but during finals week this finals week, in 2 weeks from now, my advanced irrigation class, everyone in the class will take the Irrigation Association's Certified Ag Specialist test. So their final will be a certification test, and we're prepared for that. I believe they're prepared for that. So that's we can put some more of them to work.
Good.
very good.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Okay, now we'll move into the next part of the agenda, which is the accreditation update. Who will make that present? Oh, Brenda?
Brenda, thank you. Leslie, maybe? Good evening, Chair Rojas, members of the board, and Chancellor Smith. I'm happy to report out on the progress for the standard committees. First of all, with only 3 weeks left in the semester, everyone's pretty busy getting ready for finals, but the teams produce an amazing amount of work and evidence. They're collecting their evidence and putting it up in Office 365. We had a goal to kind of have a working draft, but I think it was a bit aggressive to have that completed. So the goal now is by May 13th, which is 2 weeks post the semester, we're able to have sort of a compilation of the majority of our evidence and a good skeleton outline of kind of what our draft will look like. Then the ALO and the faculty co-chair will meet along with the president this summer to kind of go through those skeletal outlines and drafts, and we'll have kind of a working draft as we roll into the fall semester. So the teams have just done a great job. On the slow side, student learning outcomes, we're making good progress. We're a little bit behind behind on the implementation of the eLumen software, but faculty continue to work very vigorously to get their SLOs done, and I think the goal there is by May 5th that any of the new SLOs would be inputted. And we will continue to focus on quality, and performance improvement. The new focus with accreditation is on not just simply compliance, but really showing continuous improvement in terms of student success and achievement. And I just want to challenge us all. We've asked our campus to try to take the accreditation basics that's on the ACCJC website. And Trustee Riley last time mentioned that he had taken that, so I want to encourage the whole board to do that.
I took it and I passed.
And you have, all right. And we're trying to get 100%. I don't know if we'll get that on our campus, but many of our faculty and staff have taken the basics. So it's very informative. It takes about 2 hours. Is that, yeah, unless you're a speed reader and you're really quick on checking it. But it's very valuable and information there for the board as well on that website. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm doing well. How are you? Good. Good evening, Chair Rojas, members of the board. At MJC, similar to our sister college, we continue to do our self-reflective work in assessing ourselves as an institution, looking at our teaching and learning practices and our operational practices and approaches. We had 3 objectives going into this phase. It was transparency, engagement, and communication. I think we have done well with those 3 objectives. We have had broad engagement with our governance councils, each being assigned a standard to work on, and so that included administrators, faculty, and staff working on standards. Transparency, we have 4 templates. We have 3 templates of the 4 standards posted. Our goal was to have all 4 posted by the time folks went away from break. I think we will make it. So that gives the campus community a chance to look at the work that's been done. We also have a open comment box where faculty and staff, once they look at the templates, can add additional recommendations for areas we can look for evidence or additional things we might want to look at as an institution. The 3rd one was communication. We've done some self-assessing of ourselves and how we did on that objective. I think we fell a little bit short, so one of the things we're talking about at our next accreditation council meeting is a communications plan, and to send out an email to the campus community letting them know the templates are posted and what our next steps are. And those next steps are we will have a writing team composed of members of the councils to work over the summer to take the templates and draft out our first rough draft of our self-evaluation. And we had set a goal to have that out by Institute Day, and so I think we will have that ready for the campus review in the fall. I think that is it. Am I leaving anything out?
Students participating.
Yes, we have students participating as well.
Any questions
That's
for
where
Brenda?
we are.
Thank you for that report, Brenda. Okay, we move on. Report and information items. We don't have anything there. So we'll have our constituency reports. Student Senate activity reports. Do we have anybody here from Columbia or MJC?
I have Columbia's, but I'd like to welcome Brad up to report for MJC.
Great.
Members of the board, trustees, how are you? Good evening. First of all, I was wondering if I could pass some flyers around. Is that okay?
Sure. Try it
Okay.
out right there with Michelle.
Hi, I'm Brad Machado. I'm the Executive Vice President for the Associated Students of Modesto Junior College. Standing in for President Ledesma tonight, and I get the privilege of bragging, so I'm kind of excited. First, I'll talk about some of our events. We have a cram night coming up. This is an event for students to connect with their professors and prepare for finals. Also, we have a cultural awareness event coming up. It's a powwow on the 16th. I think the events might be in the flyers there. We also have 3 other events from senators that are coming up prior to the end of the year. This is actually historic. This is the first time in the history of ASMJC that all of our members of the student body government have met the requirement to hold a project during the year. So we're very excited about that. These events have both raised awareness for cultural issues, such as the needs of various special populations on campus. They've also fed thousands of needy students. We've handed out hygiene items to these students and connected them with services in our community to ensure that they have all the resources they need for success. One particular event of note is our Flow event. It is free lunch on Wednesdays. This event alone has fed over 3,500 needy students each Wednesday, ensuring that they have food. So currently we have, well, when we finish these events, we'll have completed 30 events this year compared to 9 in the past 3 years. We're currently in elections, so we're expecting a lot of, looking forward with a lot of excitement to the next coming year. On the subject of elections, we have made a bylaw change to our, bylaws. We came together as a student body or a student government body, and we looked at our requirements for holding office. Our requirements were the lowest of any program on campus, as well as in our district and surrounding districts. So we made a bylaw change to increase our standards and to hold ourselves more accountable. These requirements were increasing GPA requirements, requiring full-time participation in school, and showing progression towards degree completion or transfer, as well as requiring members of ASMJC attend leadership classes and mentoring with leaders in the community. All in all, we're very, very proud of what we've accomplished this year, and like I said, I'm really happy to be here and be able to brag, so
All right.
that's all I got.
Any questions?
I have a comment. I'm thrilled that you've decided to raise the standards, because some of those are mentioned in our board policies, and we actually, a couple years ago, had to lower standards, I think, for the student trustee to comply with the egg code. So I'm go for it, that you've raised your standards. I'm real happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Brad sends his regards. He had a paper he had to finish up for coming finals weeks. So he wanted me to report out that the ASCC had a presence at the Professional Engagement Institute Columbia held. ASCC also raised funds for the student worker fingerprinting cost. They did that by doing a kind of raffle with some of the Sunrise Rotary dinner tickets that they purchased, which was kind of like a twofer. They were able to support the fire program and restoring the fire truck from Hayward, along with being able to help put some funds into the student fingerprinting fee program that the foundation has, which has really helped a lot of student workers cover the cost partially. Along with that, the ASCC elections will be on the 19th and 20th next week. Cram Night is going to be on the 20th at Columbia. They're going to actually run elections through Cram Night. So we're hoping to get the largest student input that we've ever had.
All right.
Following that, actually leading up to Cram Night, there's going to be a end of the year barbecue. It's going to be put on through ASCC, hosted by the Veterans Club. The week after that's going to be graduation on the 29th. And then we're preparing for the Welcome Week barbecue in fall of 2016. So, yeah.
Any questions for Aaron?
ASCC
Thank
director.
you. Okay, we have CSEA. Debbie?
Good evening, Board. I'm very proud of the 70 classified employees who worked to help make the new Student Welcome Day at MJC successful despite the rain. A lot of people were very surprised that we still had a huge student turnout, so that was great. It goes to show how dedicated our members are to student success. Our CSEA MUP Member Unity Program continues. We accepted donations of shoes and socks to donate to the Stanislaus County Salvation Army and the Amador-Tuolumne County Action Agency. We were able to donate a total of 172 pairs of socks and 43 pairs of shoes. Also, we've been kind of inspired by ASMJC's Flow project. It kind of opened our eyes of what our students need. So I intend to connect with Brian in the fall, and College Council, it was reported out that they were going to be doing a food pantry for students, and so CSEA definitely wants to help take donations and help with that project also. We are participating in a river cleanup program this weekend. We have a group going together out on Shiloh Road to do whatever they ask us to do to help clean up the river area there. And then on a more serious note, I am disappointed in the fact that YCCD board does not have an interest in the regular reclassification process. The policy 7232 has been sent forward to the Policies and Procedure Committee with the recommendation of removing the regular 5-year review process. This indicates to me that all the talk about professional development is just that, talk. You have before you tonight a reorganization of MJC Student Services where several of our members are being reclassified into higher positions. This is great. The management has gotten together as a group and determined what was needed and the necessity to train our staff and have them better prepared to serve students. Unfortunately, this is not the norm at the campuses. We have managers who are not motivated to treat their classified staff with respect and appreciation and acknowledge the fact that they may be working out of class. And I'm not talking down about managers. What I'm realizing now as I'm becoming involved in district council and college council is the state of California requires community colleges to do more than what they fund. And there's a lot to say about human being contact with our students. You can't just send them to a computer to register and take their classes. That's not what many of our students need. Our students need human contact, and unfortunately, that's expensive. Many of our members will take duties, any duty asked of them, even if it does not fall within their classification. They want to help out their team and ultimately assist students. After they've done this for a while and realize they're not being compensated for the duties they're performing, they come to CSEA and ask what can they do. We either tell them to wait for the reclassification process, where there will be a neutral third party to perform a desk audit and determine if the duties they're providing would be included in a higher classification. Or we advise them to work to rule, meaning give the district 100% of your time for the 8 hours a day performing the duties in your job classification. And if asked to perform a duty which is higher in a higher class, to respectfully inform their manager that this responsibility does not fall within their current classification. Unfortunately, many of our employees do not have the capacity to inform their manager of their duties, or if they do, they are viewed as not being a team player or that they don't care about students. And this could not be further from the truth. Our classified employees care too much about providing the services to students to assist them in being successful. However, many of our employees are taken advantage of by their managers who continue to direct the work that is typically performed by a staff person in a higher classification. And again, I'm not talking negatively about managers. Managers are at the level that we are also in having to get stuff done. And if they see something that needs to be done and there's a staff member who they know can perform the duties, they ask them to do it, even though it's gradually getting into a higher classification level of responsibility. And that's generally what the classification study would equal out. Also, with the individual departments being responsible, if this is where reclassifications are going to go, I don't even know, it opens up the perception of favoritism. A regular reclassification performed by a neutral third party is fair and equitable for all members throughout the district. I fully understand that reclassification is expensive, and I understand that FTEs are down, and the budget is a challenge this year and almost every year. However, this change in board's policy 7232 will only destroy any opportunity our members may have to be recognized for the duties that they actually perform. I respectfully ask that you reconsider the changes that you're proposing for board policy 7232. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I'm confused by a lot of what you're talking about. This policy, where is it? Is it on the board agenda tonight?
No, it was put forward to the Policies and Procedures
Well,
Committee.
we haven't seen it. It hasn't come
I'm
to
not
us.
sure how the revisions
Well, be
come
careful
through.
about accusing us of not being interested in classified when we don't even know what you're talking about. I mean, we care about classified. And don't we have a resolution tonight about that? I mean, kind of felt like
okay,
the
I
knife
guess-
in the back twisting it.
I apologize. I thought the board policy changes came from the board.
Well, they do.
There's a process that starts at the very
Okay.
bottom and then finally comes to the board.
Okay, I
That
apologize.
committee, yeah.
So we haven't seen that one yet.
No.
I don't know where it is in the, I don't know, I don't know if the board ad hoc committee reviewed it yet or not, or.
We started with
7,000s
the
yet.
1,000, 2,000s, because like the 2,000s are the board policies, about the
Right,
board. So
Probably-
those started
probably
with us,
HR.
but the others, were- I don't know where it
Okay, well,
goes.
how I find out about it is I have a representative on the Policies and Procedures Committee. And as those policies are coming forward, he shares them with the constituencies.
right.
So that's where I saw it.
But we don't even know what it is. It hasn't, I mean,
Well, the board can review it when it gets through their policy, Debbie,
Okay,
and I don't know where it is in the queue either.
okay.
We're kind of the tail end.
Okay, and I'd be
Okay.
happy to talk with any of you or you know, in a board session about how that will affect classified employees.
I'll dig it up and review it with the board,
Okay, thank you.
sure.
Thank you. Okay, we have the faculty representative to the board. Who wants to go first?
Good evening, everyone. I have a very short report for you tonight. Just two things, really. The campus community, and I'm speaking for the faculty, we have received the invitation that the Board of Trustees sent out to provide input on chancellor qualities. And the faculty appreciates this opportunity to share ideas. And I wanted to tell you that, and I want to thank you for that. Excuse me. I have also been telling faculty lately, and I will tell you, that I attended your session on Monday where you interviewed consultant firms, and I was very impressed with the board and the thoughtfulness with which you interviewed and discussed the consultant firms. And I just wanted to tell you, I'm a believer in giving praise when it's deserved, and I think you're off to a good start. And I'm glad, and so I'll just say that. I also just want to say one other thing, which is I believe that faculty at both campuses are looking forward to graduation. And I'll see you at commencement. Do you have any questions for me?
How's that coming?
It's coming.
I've been hearing a lot about it, and how's it coming at MJC, Michelle?
It's coming along great. And I don't know, and I won't know until commencement.
Graduation.
But I am feeling really good.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
The academic senate activity report, we have first Columbia.
Curtis is unable to attend tonight, yeah. Family issue that he needed to deal with. So, hello, board.
hello.
My report is brief as well. What I originally wanted to talk to you about tonight generated a lot of discussion among my colleagues. Therefore, I'm not ready to talk about that one yet. So we'll move on to another issue. It's not an issue. Board Policy 4021, which deals with program discontinuance, is just recently going through policies and procedures. And it was last month that we were looking at it. And I realized that Columbia's policies and procedures really has not been looked at in the last 6 years. So it was time, as the board keeps up with keeping up to date with policies, so must we. So I gave it to Senate Council to look at, and it was interesting. And what I was looking at was, okay, let's not have reduction by retirement. And one of the issues with a small campus is we are so often a one full-time faculty member per department. And that's not to throw any administration under the truck or whatever. It's just what happens. There's just not enough funds for everything we'd like to do. And so what I wanted to do with this policies is to have something that makes sense about how we deal with how we move into other programs or how we discontinue programs. You know, We're not offering typing or shorthand anymore, so obviously we're able to do this. But it really came to a front to me when I was working with on accreditation and noticing that the language about how you deal with students who have been left behind because of a program being discontinued needs to be addressed thoroughly in the procedures. So that's my work. And right now, our policy doesn't adequately address it. I'm worried that we'll get dinged if we don't work on this really soon. So anyhow, that's what we spent Friday working on and just looking at this policy going, oh my God.
But are you adding language?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what the whole review's
Yeah,
about.
but it was fascinating because when I looked at our policy, basically it's talking about a state of extreme financial hardship. And that's when you do it, and it's not when we do it. We do it when it needs to change, when there's data that supports that we need to move on to something.
Then the board needs your expertise on what you propose on that
So
policy.
the policies and the procedures will work hand in hand. But anyhow, that's what we're doing right now. Any questions? Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Thank you.
Thank you. Curtis Martin's not here, so I don't know if anybody has his report. If not, we'll.
No.
Oh, okay, no report on that one. So we'll have LTAC, the leadership team. Do we have?
Dorothy's here.
Dorothy?
Good evening, everyone. You didn't sound excited. I am reporting on behalf of Klaus Tenbergen. He is the LTAC president. I've got a couple things to cover tonight. So there were some functionality issues with the leadership team evaluation forms. Those have been resolved with the help from Michelle Walker at Columbia College. So we really appreciate the work she did on that. And just as part of the increased dues for the leadership team, two scholarships have been given to both colleges, one for MJC and one for Columbia College. And I believe Columbia has awarded those, and then MJC also has awarded theirs as well. We have received some proposed language change to the evaluation forms. Klaus will be working with HR and leadership team on those changes. He's also recommended some additional roles for the LTAC committee members. He is wanting to include a vice president position and a past president position in an effort to make the transition for new members easier. He also plans on working on some updates to the leadership team handbook regarding benefits, and I'm not sure what those changes would be. And then at last month's meeting, we discussed attendance at the YCCD board meetings, college council, and district council. We're all very busy, and sometimes logistics tends to get into the way. So I will be Klaus's backup for the board meetings and district council. Arbella and Yolanda will be my backup, and then Amy Nielsen at Columbia College will be his backup for meetings that are at Columbia College. And that's all I have, and I wish everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Any questions for Dorothy?
Do you have any questions?
You're good. Thank you. YFA.
Good evening. I've got what I think I will call a 3+1 report tonight. 3 quick reports plus 1 fun one. And so we recently, as we heard with this Associated Students, we recently finished an election. We had several of our exec board members who were up for re-election. It went uncontested, and so they are continuing on for another term. We did have one contested position for our adjunct representative on the Rep Council, and Dr. Bill Hawley will be the adjunct representative on Rep Council. So we're pleased to have him start with us. Next is that beginning tomorrow and Friday, we have a general meeting for the faculty, one tomorrow at MJC, 3 o'clock. We have another one on Friday as well to review our part-time and full-time faculty surveys, and then generate a discussion about those results. While I'm up at Columbia, YFA is also sponsoring a kind of a luncheon. We did a celebration at MJC last December, and so in turn. We're doing one at Columbia this Friday, so it should be a lot of fun. And then next week, I believe that Senate has plenary up at Sacramento. And then for those of us in the union, we have the RCCCI conference that will be in Sacramento as well. So we'll be same place, different locations. And then here's the plus one. So I've been wanting to do something fun for a while now, and wanting to see if there's a way we could